When we think of sex, we often think of fast, casual, dramatic sex, sensation without soul. But many of us are much more sensitive than that superficial idea in our life and our intimacy. Where's the light? We live in an immature culture where we're supposed to be happy and upbeat and sexy and available all of the time. And there's not much space for the reality of hesitation or fears. Whether we're on a date or in a relationship, we may be being very physically intimate, but barely really intimate. You see, taking our clothes off, getting physically naked, is just the beginning of really getting undressed, of exploring and discovering and adventuring to find out who we and the other really is. Sex is complex. We're complex. And that's ordinary and wonderful. I'm Julia Paulette Hollenbery. I am, as Ali said, a healer, a body worker, and a teacher of embodiment and spirituality and body wisdom. I've been working with people for almost 30 years, guiding them to wholeness and happiness and potential. And my book, my internationally published book, The Healing Power of Pleasure, 7 Medicines for Rediscovering the Innate Joy of Being, is about sex, and it's about a lot more. How to live a really delicious life. When I was a teenager, sex seemed really complicated, full of the ideas of others. I remember my dad in the 70s watching TV, glamorizing male desire and objectifying female bodies, and my mum, wanting to protect me, would tell me, men only ever want one thing and never give it to them. I was confused and I didn't know how to be me with my impulses. And sex often felt to me to be too much, too fast, and I froze. And I think many of us can feel anxious about sex for many different reasons. And I've forgotten what I was going to say next, which is exactly the point that when we're anxious and stuck in our heads, that's not very sexy. So the truth is that we're all getting undressed from the singular idea that there's just one sex act to the varied ways that you and your partner and partners really like to be. So this evening, I'd like to share with you 3 aspects that I've discovered for myself and my clients that can really help in the journey of getting undressed fully in lovemaking. Safety, first, self-expression, and full-bodied sensuality. Sex is personal. And when we meet somebody else body to body, there's a lot of information present. Our personal history and our feelings and our energy. And it's up to us together to create safety for ourselves so that everyone can feel safe enough to start and stop, to be aroused and calm, excited and present. So we want to begin with a spark of genuine attraction, of interest and care for the other person. We want to arrive in our body. And most of us, stressed out by work or distracted by our devices, often need to do something in order to arrive here in our body. Perhaps a massage or a dance, a shower or a wiggle. And we want to build a container, which means talking quite a lot, sharing our fears and our desires, our hopes, maybe our trauma or our fantasies, and what we definitely don't want to do. We want to pay attention to what's really happening here and what's really happening for the other person. How are our words and touch affecting them? And how's their touch and words really affecting us? We're all different, and we all need something slightly different. And we want to go slow, really slow, kissing slowly, touching slowly, so that we can really be with the experience that's happening. Slow enough so that we can choose amongst all the options in the playground of human relating. Whether it's sniffing, or sucking, or stroking, or if penetration, when, how shallow or deep, moving or still, orgasm or not, and being willing to interrupt all of the activity just to have a chat, a giggle, a cup of tea. Getting undressed is trusting ourselves and the other person. Sex is not just genitals. It's a whole body experience. Heart, mind, and genitals. And many of us are sensitive and find being in this crazy world challenging enough, let alone negotiating, finding our pleasure. Can you grant yourself permission to really be you, uniquely, however you really are? Shy, enthusiastic, in control, passive, earthy, angelic, mischievous, emotional, wild. Can you grant the other permission to really be how they are and not to just be an object for your gratification, not just to make them wet or make them hard, but to really allow your body to surprise you, to move you, to flow you. Pleasure can happen in silence, but words can really be useful. Kind, clear, courageous words. Getting undressed is being imperfect and vulnerable with another. We can't think sex. We need to feel and sense it. And we're not very practiced in our culture at really being attuned to other people or to ourselves. So there's a secret, which is being able to sense self and the other at the same time. So let's try something. Can you put a hand on your leg? And with your hand, feel your leg. And with your leg, feel your hand. And if you bring attention to your hand, does that change your experience? And if you bring attention to your leg, does that change your experience of pleasure? How is your pleasure? Where is your pleasure? When is your pleasure? Is your pleasure at the end? Is it at the beginning, or is it right now? Is there loads of pleasure just waiting for us to notice? Getting undressed is dropping out of our thoughts and really into this flesh. So I'd like to invite you not to try and be so-called perfect. Allowing yourself to really trust, to express yourself, and to enjoy. Let's take the pressure off. There is time and space to really reveal and discover who you are and who the other person is, gloriously revealed. Soulful sex isn't doing. It's really just being with somebody else. And if you'd like to find out more about my work, universeofdeliciousness.com. Lots of resources available there, and I'd love to hear from you. Lots of love.
Thank you, Julia.